He asks, what do you believe is the most viable strategy for building a group that is designed to survive the eventual collapse of Western society and then thrive in the aftermath? Well, it's what the Amish are doing. The Amish are probably going to be barely touched by this collapse of Western civilization. They haven't embraced Western civilization to any great extent. They all learn to drive in Rumspringa, and some of them do quite technical jobs from things they learn in their Rumspringa. So I would think they will definitely survive in their current form. The only problem is, as things in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Kentucky become incredibly violent, they might have to actually defend themselves. Because they're pacifists, the Amish, which would be interesting. So that would be one way to survive the collapse.
Well, I think it's not so much a case of strategizing. It's a case of there being a large plurality of alternative evolutionary strategies already playing themselves out, such as Mormonism, such as the group evolutionary strategies of Amish people, for example. And ultimately, what you'll have is just a situation in which those strategies which are conducive to maximized fitness will persist, whereas those which aren't won't. One thing we do see is a very, very pronounced secular trend towards people with so-called far-right views having way more children than everybody else. And this is true even if you control for age and educational attainment and a whole bunch of other covariates. And what's more is the relationship has gotten more and more pronounced as a function of time. So, in other words, more recently, it's gotten more severe. So, what that tells you is that these agent-based simulations, which look at the degree to which cooperation of a ethnocentric variety versus a commensalistic variety versus actively working against your group. These models consistently show that more in-group oriented people under these simulated conditions have more children and build more cohesive groups. And what the data on the fertility patterns of people as a function of political orientation show is that those simulations are absolutely right. It is these more ethnocentric, far-right type people who are outbreeding everybody else.
Malcolm Collins has done his own number crunching and concluded that it is not conservatism or religiosity, but authoritarianism that is predictive of fertility.